In this video, we're going to be sharing with you a really neat technique for creating arch text like this in CorelDRAW. And you will be amazed, I think, of how easy it really is. And there are a lot of softwares out there where you can create rhinestone fonts easily, I would say easily. But the results that you get, that's another thing entirely. And our techniques here is going to give you great, perfect results. And really that's what you want to do. And there's nothing more powering than having a customer walk in the door and say, hey, I want this. And you'd be able to sit in front of your computer and while they browse your shop, be able to knock it out. And that's really what this video is about, is just sharing these techniques with you. And you're going to be able to utilize these the next time someone comes in and needs something special. So our first thing to do is to use CorelDRAW to arch text. And it couldn't be simpler. We just drag out a circle, a ellipse to be technical, and then grab our text tool here. And there's lots of ways to do this, but I'm just kind of giving you the basic way. So we're going to type out some text, because everyone can draw a circle and everyone can add text. The next step, of course, is to arch it. And to do that, right-click, drag it to the outline, choose this option, fit to path. If you don't have this option, you didn't drop it right on the outline. So hit fit text to path. And now our word tigers is now fixed to our path. If you like that arch, great. We're moving on. Over here in the object manager here, you can see that the text is actually connected to our ellipse. And we need to unconnect it. So we come to the Arrange menu and choose this option, Break Text Apart. Now they're two separate entities. Now our tigers is still one entity, and we need individual entities. So Arrange, same thing, Break Artistic Text. And now each letter is its own. The next thing to do is to set the overall width of our word tigers, which in this case, I'm going to set it to, let's set it to, I guess we'll do 9.5 inches, whatever we want. Okay, so now it's set to 9.5 inches. Now we have to add stones to it. So let's start here with our letter I and understand some basic concepts. I'm going to go to the View Wireframe option. See that wireframe? That's where the stones are going to be added to. So if I click here on our Stone tab and choose Add Stones, it's going to add stones along that wire. And that's how all rhinestone programs work. They all work the same way. You take a path and you add stones to it. It's not complicated. But obviously this result isn't what we want. If we go back to the Enhance mode, we have a huge gap here that we can sling a cat through. So that we have to fix. And then you can see these corners, well, those aren't looking very nice either. So there are some ways to fix this fairly easily. The first thing we need to do is figure out how big a gap we have. And there's a function here in CorelDRAW that makes that process very easy. So let's go back to millimeters, grab this tool right here, which is our parallel dimension tool. And we just snap to one of the edges of our stone and pull it over, and you know, I don't know if you can see that, but just eyeballing it, it's about 2 millimeters. Okay, so we'll just call it 2 millimeters. Now, that gap, we want the gap to be 0.5 millimeter, and it's currently 2. So what do we do to fix it? Well, let's select these stones and clear them, get rid of them, and then we're going to go over here to the Stone Fill tab. This offset value right here, we're going to type in 0.75. Now let me explain why. So we're going to offset to the inside 0.75 of a millimeter, but we're going to do that on each side. So 0.75 and 0.75 is 1.5, leaving us a 0.5 millimeter gap, give or take. So let's try it. Let's go ahead and hit Island Fill. Now we have our new white object. Let's just turn it blue so you can see what we're talking about here. Let's go ahead and delete the black one altogether. So we have our new object here. So now when we add stones to it, it's looking better, right? We do have a little bit of an issue here. If I go to the wireframe mode, we can see it more clearly. This stone You can see the center of it is not where it should be, right? So we have to do one more thing. So let's go back to the enhance mode here. We have to tell EasyStone what the corners are so it knows. And we do that over here on the editing tab, believe it or not. There's 2 angles next to break at nodes. So anything greater than 30, anything less than 160 is considered a corner. Now back over here on the stone tab, there's an option here for detect corners. You can have that checked and it will stay on all the time. I don't like to work with the function all the time, so I created a shortcut key, which I have, and I use a lot of shortcut keys, which is my Alt key, add stones. And now you can see, look at that, perfection. I mean, it actually looks just exactly the way we would expect it, right? So now we just double click on our letter T here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come in here, and we're going to go to T, G, E, R, and S, and we're going to do the offset just like we did previously. We know that last one worked. So we're going to type in 0.75. We're going to do 1 offset, and we're going to hit island fill, and that will offset them all. So now, just to kind of clean this up, I might just go ahead and delete all of the old, and even this one. And let's go back to wireframe mode so we can see these things. So they're all there. You see them? Let's go ahead and select them all. Give them a different fill color. So if we do go back to enhance mode, we can see it. Alright, so now let's just start here with our letter S, maybe. Basic principle is you can see all these little dots. Those are nodes. And what we want to do is we want to tell EasyStone specifically what nodes we want to break in this particular situation. So double click, takes us into our node editing tool. See how they're all highlighted in red? That means we're in our node editing tool. And we're going to select those 2, hold our shift key down and select these 2, come to the editing tab, break at nodes. Come over here to the stone tab, add stones. All those paths are still selected, and you can see that the stones have been added perfectly. No adjustments need to be made. Let's take a letter R. This is going to be a little bit more work. We're going to select these 2, shift key, these 2, shift key, these 2, shift key, this 1, shift key, these 2. Go to our editing tab, break at nodes, go to the stone tab, add stones. Oh boy, we've got a mess going on here. These stones are a little bit too close together. We got a whole little cluster gaggle there. So we're going to come back and we're going to fix that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our E here. And for our letter E, we're just going to, again, we'll just select all of our stones, come to the editing tab, break at nodes, go to the stone tab, add stones. A little bit of work here too. We have some little bit gap issues and just some minor things we'll clean up there. Our letter G, let's go ahead and double click that. These, we're going to take those 2, shift key, these 2, shift key, these 2, shift key, these 2. We're going to break it right at those points. So go to the editing tab, break at nodes, go to the stone tab, add stones. Pretty good. We have a little bit of issue there we're going to touch up in a couple other areas, but we're getting there. And then finally, for our letter T, same thing. Let's just take all those nodes, go to our editing tab. We'll come in here, break at nodes, go to the stone tab, and add stones. So let's go back in here to enhance mode and see what we can fix up. See, our letter T, that top line, looks a little tight in spots, so we're just pinch it up a little bit. That takes care of that. Okay, we're happy with that. Our letter G, same thing here. We're just going to pinch it up a little bit. Get it exactly where we want it. I think right there is pretty good. Now, we do have some other issues. The stones are a little bit close there. To me, the stones are a little bit off, you know, a little bit too big a gap there, a little bit tight there. So let's select all of these. Now, let's go back over to wireframe mode so we can see this. Right now, all these stones are attached to the wire. So what we're going to do is say, basically, delete the wire. And so we're going to select all that and hit delete stone paths, and those will instantly all go away. Now, you can see that there are some overlaps here. So we'll select, I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll just make a smaller selection. Go to the editing tab, check spacing, and then those overlaps are taken care of for us. So now what we need to do is just take these stones here that are a little bit too close together and make a small nudge. And that's, you know, that's just really personal preference more than anything. I'll take these, slide them over a little bit. I'll take these that I think are too close together, slide them down a little bit. Basic editing here. I'll take these. I think they're a little too close together. Good. And this one here, I think I can actually fit another stone in there. So let me try to do that. Let's just duplicate this one, and then we'll select all of them, and we'll kind of respace those apart. A little bit tight in terms of spacing there, but you know, I think that looks pretty good. And there's a couple that I just think that look better. There we go. I think that pretty well takes care of that. We're going to select our letter I here. Go ahead and go back to our stone tab and delete those stone paths. I think our letter T here, we can go ahead and delete the stone paths there. That looks pretty good. Now for our letter E here, we have some issues here. So we're just going to pull down that. We're going to pull this up. Add a little bit of space. Maybe I'll add just a touch more. And then down here, same thing. We're just going to pull that up just a little bit. Alright, and then over here, another thing I want to show you, when the stones are still attached to the path, we can add an extra stone. So right here, let's go back to the enhance mode here so we can see this a little bit better. So if you think that you want an extra stone, just hit the up arrow here and see how it fit an extra stone in there. And if you like that, then you can just leave it. So like going horizontally, if I think I want another stone, just try it. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so that's all you have to do. If you want to just come in here and say, hey, you know what, I want to try an extra stone or two. Really simple to tighten up that spacing, just using that option there. That looks a little bit too tight for comfort there. So let's see if an extra stone there would fit nice. So we can add or subtract. Nope, I think we'll just leave it like that. And then down here, I actually don't think we'll add a stone. That way the top and bottom will kind of match up a little bit better. I just thought an extra stone there was going to look pretty good. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and delete our stone paths because we don't need those anymore. And then we can come in here and make those minor edits if we think we need to make any in regards to these overlapping stones. We'll nudge this one up, delete this one, delete that one. Minor changes there, and I think that looks pretty good. For our letter E, that takes care of that. Now for our letter R here, we do have some issues that we need to deal with. Let's go ahead and add an extra stone along that line there, and let's see if we can fit one in here too. Yep, I think that'll work out okay. So now what we need to do is just fix up this letter R here a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and select it. Now we'll just do the whole thing. Delete stone paths. And we're going to come in here and go ahead and we'll do that check spacing feature. Get rid of any overlapping stones. That'll simplify the process somewhat for us. And then we just need to come in here and make these small edits. So like right here, I need to make a small edit because these stones are spaced a little bit too close together there. We have kind of a little bit of a cluster problem there, so we're going to get rid of a couple of stones and reposition a few here. So maybe we'll nudge that stone up a little bit, nudge this one over. I want to try and get one more stone here. I don't think we're gonna. So what we're gonna have to do here is take these stones and shift P, and that will kind of space these out a little bit better. And that we're just gonna have to live with now. So that is, just nudge these up. Now these stones at this angle here, I'm actually going to finesse this one a little bit. There we go, that looks a little better. So then these stones at an angle, we're going to go ahead and just drag that one up. We're going to add another one, and then we're going to select all these stones. So I'm just selecting one stone, holding my shift key down and clicking on the others, and then respacing those out a little bit. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Move that anchor stone up, select all these, respace them. And I'm actually going to pull these over a little bit. So there we go. There's our letter R. Now we do need to fix these stones going across the top. So we'll just pull those down a little bit more. I think that looks pretty good for our letter R there. And then I don't think there was really anything we needed to do on our letter S. So maybe we could bring in a couple of stones here. So they weren't quite so tight, but you know, that's being kind of nitpicky. So just get this however you like it. I think, yeah, just those minor little edits there. And there is our word tigers. So we'll go ahead and throw a weed box in the back there, and we're ready to send this to the cutter to cut. So I hope you enjoyed this video, learned a few new techniques, and now you can take any font and quickly arch it, stone it out, just a matter of a few minutes, and have a great looking result. Thanks for watching.